catastrophic situation is playing out in Australia.
The smoke visible from space.
A New Year's Eve crisis going into 2020.
People are telling us this is the worst they've ever seen. The fires have burned more intensely, more ferociously. They seem to have a mind of their own.
Satellite imagery is showing that Arctic sea ice is at its lowest levels on record.
This is what climate change looks like.
And here we are in 2022, and disaster news still left, right, and center every single day. Every day there's a new place that has been hit by some environmental catastrophe. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Katlansha, and today, on this beautiful Earth Day, well, I don't know about you, but I'm a bit tired of hearing all of those problems with our planet's climate. We constantly have to hear about it. Climate change, climate change, climate change, everywhere. It's kind of tiring, you know? Just always hearing about the disaster all around the planet and no solutions to the problem.
All hail!
The renewables? Now you might say, what about renewables? And I'd simply answer, renewables also have their drawbacks. Solar, for instance. If you put up a massive solar farm over the Sahara Desert, it won't be the Sahara Desert anymore. It will start growing plants because there is humidity difference. So what actually happens is the temperature below the panels is much lower. Thus, lower temperature air cannot hold as much water. Thus, the water starts falling out of the air and, well, as the quote goes, life finds a way. So, without a Sahara Desert, no sands ever get blown up and over the ocean, and the Amazon forest dies. Then a carbon problem will seem minuscule. We have already changed the planet's environment, so now we want to use solar panels and renewable energy in order to do that even worse. So solar has its drawbacks. Wind, technically speaking, wind is just a mechanical form of a solar panel, because wind is generated via the sun. If there was no sun, there would be no wind in our atmosphere. So as a result, if we put up wind turbines everywhere, one side effect of that is taking energy from the wind and turning that into electricity reduces wind speed. So let's say Europe, which gets all of this nice lacquer wind that is coming from the ocean, keeping the whole of Europe warm, what if that suddenly isn't like that anymore? If we start putting up so many wind turbines that we change that winds, we reduce the speed, suddenly places like Germany is going to start suffering like as if it was in a rain shadow suddenly. That's the same effect that the wind will have if we take the wind away. If we reduce wind speeds on this planet, we also have to understand that no matter what we do, that will also have environmental consequences, which will be unavoidable. Same with solar. And also geothermal energy, it has a massive drawback. And that massive drawback is that our planet is actually a molten ball of matter. Just the surface plates is actually solid, but the rest of the planet is still molten. Completely molten, our mantle included. But the interesting thing is our magnetic field is generated within our mantle. So now if we go ahead and we start cooling down the mantle, we are going to have a problem in a few thousand years probably, where the magnetic field will become weaker and weaker and weaker as a result of us, well, stealing the heat from the inside of our planet. I'm not really keen on that. That's very detrimental to our planet, and I would like to see it last at least the next 91 billion years, hopefully longer. And the way that we can achieve this and the way that we can resolve climate change and also revert our planet back to pre-industrial stage is quite simple. There's two factors involved in here. Firstly, we'd have to get over our problem with nuclear power. Nuclear power is the thing that is going to save us, because nuclear power is the only source of power that is on this planet that does not have some sort of negative environmental impact. Check out this video I made on the subject. It will inform you as to why I say this about nuclear power. And in the second part of this plan, if we do go to nuclear power on the planet, the second thing we would want to do is start to disassemble our moon. And it's very important that we do it with our moon, because our moon doesn't have an atmosphere, so we can use an electromagnetic rail in order to launch stuff into space from the moon. Thus, we don't need to worry about rocket fuels. and we can place stuff in orbit quite easily. Not even to speak of all the advantages of having a magnetic levitating train or rail on the moon. One of those big advantages is the temperature on the moon. The temperature on the moon is exceptionally cold in the shade, at least minus 160 degrees Celsius. Thus, any metals that we use for that rail will actually become more efficient at that temperature because of that low temperatures, as metals lose resistance as the temperature starts coming down on a metal. And at that type of low temperatures, we are quite close to the point where superconductors can exist. And we might actually end up creating these out of superconductors, which would be awesome. Then we launch satellites from the moon, which are basically just shades. We can literally make this out of sheet metals. Literally sheet metal, we can refine metal, aluminium, iron, whatever we need from the moon's surface, as the moon contains the same materials as the Earth, and we can turn that into shades that we can launch from the moon, thus reducing the amount of light that hits the planet. We would probably get to about 2% in order to return the planet back to pre-industrial stage. But it is exceptionally important that we turn nuclear, otherwise we are just going to destroy our environment furthermore with all the other so-called renewable sources on this planet. Because it's nice having a renewable, but it ain't nice having to deal with the climate change fallout from that. And that is what we're going to see. We are going to have climate change fallout from renewable power, and we still don't realize how much that fallout is going to be. Hopefully we do realize it before it's too late. But in the meantime, it would be prudent for us to go nuclear and start using the moon in order to protect our planet. And the reason why I say and propose that we use the external source of the moon in order to prevent the Earth from overheating is simple. Our star is not a stable star. It's never been, and it never will be stable. So as a result, no matter what we do on Earth, we still have this unregulated nuclear fusion reactor that's just hanging in the sky, and it is throwing out energy at an uneven rate. So despite what we might think, there is no way that on this planet within this atmosphere that we will be able to regulate that nuclear reactor. It's not gonna happen. The only way we can regulate that nuclear reactor is by getting in between us and that nuclear reactor. There is no other course of action that can resolve this matter in an efficient manner. So that is my proposal for how to not only stop climate disaster, but also revert the climate back to pre-industrial state. And thus keeping our planet pristine for hopefully next few billion years, so our children can also enjoy this planet. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video today, please subscribe for more. One of my future videos, I intend to discuss how we can extend the lifespan of our star, so do tune in.